On a frozen night in 1942, 200 Allied ships slipped into the Arctic darkness. And for decades, historians asked the same question. How did an entire armada simply vanish? This is the untold story of the convoys the Admiralty feared, the sailors never forgot, and the world tried to bury beneath the ice. This is the night the Arctic swallowed a fleet. The Arctic convoys were the Allies' lifeline to the Soviet Union, a lifeline made of rusted steel, frozen decks, and men who fought not only the enemy, but the sea itself. Temperatures fell to minus 40 degrees. Waves hit with the weight of collapsing buildings. A man who fell overboard lasted less than 90 seconds before the cold seized his lungs. And yet, the convoys sailed. Every single month. By 1942, more than 200 ships, merchant vessels, destroyers, cruisers, escorts, and handfuls of trawlers and submarines had vanished into storms, pack ice, enemy attack, or simply silence. Some were never found. Some left no survivors. Some disappeared in daylight, as if dragged straight under the waves. But none of those losses compared to what came next. Convoy PQ17 left Iceland in late June 1942. 35 merchant ships, 6 destroyers, 4 corvettes, 2 anti-aircraft ships, and a handful of trawlers and submarines. Every man aboard knew the truth. This convoy was so important that the Germans would throw everything at it. Waiting for them deep in Norway, the battleship Tirpitz, the most feared surface ship in the world. A single appearance from Tirpitz could kill thousands. But the Arctic had its own plans. By day, the sun never truly set. By night, it never truly rose. A world trapped between light and darkness. Fog rolled across the horizon like a living creature. Icebergs drifted silently, pale, towering, unpredictable. Sailors said they felt watched, not by the Luftwaffe overhead, but by the sea itself. And then came the first disappearance. A ship simply gone. No distress call, no explosion, no debris. One moment, a dot on the horizon. The next, nothing. The Admiralty blamed weather. The escorts blamed ice. The sailors blamed something far worse. Luck. On July 4th, 1942, a message flashed from British command. Cruisers are to withdraw. Convoy is to scatter. The fear? The Tirpitz was moving. A ghost in the fjords. A monster in the mist. The convoy, without protection, was now ordered to split apart. Scattered ships meant less risk of losing everything in one strike. But alone in the Arctic, scattering was a death sentence. The German aircraft and U-boats fell upon them like wolves. What followed was the worst convoy massacre of the entire war. The attacks came in waves. Dive bombers streaked from the clouds, their engines shaking the frozen air. U-boats slipped between drifting ice, launching torpedoes that left no splash, only thunder. Ships burned like floating furnaces. Others broke apart in silence, slipping under the black water. But many simply disappeared. No flame, no sound, no wreckage. Only empty coordinates and the whisper of the wind. Over 200 Allied vessels across 1942, including the ships lost before and after PQ17, were claimed by the Arctic routes in these same conditions. Storms, submarines, mines, ice, mechanical failure, and sometimes things no one could explain. Bodies were rarely recovered. Steel vanished beneath drifting pack ice. Logbooks froze shut. Families received telegrams with one chilling line: missing, presumed lost. Yet, in the midst of chaos, there were miracles. The Samuel Chase fought through 12 separate attacks and lived. The tanker Aldersdale burned for hours, yet stayed afloat long enough for her crew to escape. A tiny escort trawler rammed a German torpedo bomber and survived the explosion. These were ordinary sailors standing against impossible odds. Each man aboard knew that the Arctic was killing them faster than the enemy. Frostbite froze fingers to rifles. Boots froze to steel decks. Breath turned to ice inside their beards. But they did not break. And here lies the cruel twist of fate. The Tirpitz never attacked. The Admiralty scattered the convoy over a ship that never actually sailed toward them. The convoy died running from a shadow. Out of the 35 merchant ships, only 11 reached Russia. It was the worst convoy disaster in Allied naval history. But it was only one chapter in a much bigger story. The story of the 200 ships the Arctic claimed in 1942 alone. Today, the Arctic keeps its secrets. Many of the ships have never been found. Their hulls lie somewhere in the coldest waters on Earth, under mountains of drifting ice. Their crews rest with them. Young men from Britain, America, Canada, Norway, frozen into history. When explorers finally found some of the wrecks decades later, they described them as time capsules, cabins untouched, boots still by the bunks, instruments intact, as if waiting for the crew to return. But they never would. The Arctic convoys kept the Soviet Union alive. They fed a front that held back millions of German troops. They changed the course of the war. And yet, the cost was almost unbearable. The night those 200 ships vanished is more than a tragedy. It is a reminder that some of the greatest battles of World War II were fought in silence, in darkness, in places where no enemy was needed, because the sea itself was deadly enough. To the sailors who froze on the decks, to the gunners who stood their posts in blinding snow, to the captains who guided their ships through storms that swallowed fleets. This story is yours, and tonight we remember you.